Listen up, my Gucci Maniacs. I'm back. This is episode 191. And this is continuing my series about why I think abortion is wrong and it's murder. If you watched the last episode, you heard a couple of sad testimonies. Here's a couple of good testimonies. Now, I'm not giving the real name of this fellow that I know, so I'm just going to call him Axel. Many years ago, let's see here, I think Axel's like in his early 30s, late 20s, maybe mid 20s or early 20s. I'm not sure. He's in between 20 and 30 years old. But around that time period, his mom, who lived out in California at the time, was running every morning because that's what she loved, running. One day she was raped. She did the police report and all that, and a rape kit. A few weeks later, she found out she was pregnant with Axel. Now, she had means to where she could afford to pay for an abortion, but she didn't. Instead, she decided to have the baby and to keep it. A few years later, another woman was raped by the same rapist. The police ran the DNA test up against all the other rape kits they had, and it was a match to Axel's mom's rape kit. So they had Axel's mom and the other lady meet each other, and maybe they could help each other trigger what they couldn't remember about their attacker. Well, it turns out this other lady also ended up getting pregnant by that same rapist. She couldn't afford to have an abortion, but she wanted to. Axel's mom talked her into having the baby and told her if she didn't want the baby after she gives birth, that she would adopt it and raise Axel and the baby as siblings. The lady decided to go on and have the baby. Axel's mom adopted it. They did end up catching the rapist. So when you use the excuse in case of rape or incest, there are options. You can have the baby and put it up for adoption. I know a lot of people who would love to have children and can't. A lot of people go through the foster care program here in Virginia to adopt. That's how my sister and her husband adopted their three. Now, the next one I'm going to tell you is the testimony that is the beginning part of the song that I wrote. I was watching one of the pro-life rallies a few years ago. There was a young woman on there that said that when she was 16 years old, her and her boyfriend decided they were going to lose their virginities to each other. They were going to do the nasty, you know what I'm saying? And she ended up pregnant. Well, her boyfriend broke up with her because she got pregnant. Her parents told her, get an abortion. Her friends encouraged her to get an abortion. Again, this is another person who lived out in California, by the way. She had a phone call. She had set up an appointment. And for some reason, she overslept and missed her appointment. So she made another appointment. And made it into Planned Parenthood. But before they could call her, they had a bomb threat. And they shut that particular facility down until they got it cleared. But she went home. And again, didn't get her abortion. The following Sunday, she was highly upset. She didn't know what she was going to do. She got angry. Somehow or another, she threw stuff in the floor. And apparently her remote must have hit the floor or something. But the TV came on. It just happened to be the channel in that part of California that Jerry Falwell's Old Time Gospel Hour was coming on. That's when Jerry Falwell was talking about the Liberty Godparent Home. Now, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with that, that's where people, teenagers and women who are pregnant in their unwanted pregnancies, instead of abortion, they have an option of either having the baby, keeping it, or having the baby and putting it up for adoption. She told her parents that she wasn't going to get an abortion. Told them about the Liberty Godparent Home. They didn't take that very well, and as usual, as most liberals, did not like Dr. Falwell. But I have to say Dr. Falwell is a great guy. He was a great man. Well, anyway, she had the baby. She took all the money she had, came to Lynchburg, Virginia, had the baby, decided to keep the baby. A few years later, she met a great guy who fell in love with her and the baby. They got married, and she had like 4 or 5 other kids with her husband. So yeah, abortion's murder. The excuses you give for, well, what about this, this, and this, doesn't work. And when Hollywood goes, well, we're pro-choice, we're pro-choice, really? Then how come in 2 different occasions Hollywood put pro-life messages in a couple of their TV shows and movies? There's an episode in the 2nd season where Counselor Troy gets pregnant by an alien and she has the baby. There's a movie called Medea's Happy Family where one of the girls was raped when she was 13, gave birth to a baby. The baby was raised as her brother. So that's 2 examples where Hollywood took pro-life stances. I don't know if they meant to or not, but they did. Until next time, the next video will be the song I wrote, which has that second testimony I told you about. Good night. Peace out. Love y'all. And remember, keep fighting the liberal hypocrisy.